guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impression / explanation video for you. I have something here from Condor Tool and Knife, and I have to tell you guys, when I bought this, when I had it coming in, I had a friend and I was telling him I picked it up, and he kind of looked at me like I had my head on backwards. Bradley, who often shares some of his collection to benefit the channel, I told him I was picking one of these up. He kind of looked at me weird, and I probably, and a number of you may do the same thing, but I want to share with you in this video why I picked this up, why I was so curious about it. Here is the knife we're talking about. It barely, well, it doesn't fit in frame with the sheath on, but I think with the sheath off, let me just do this now. There we go. It will. Yeah, there we go. So this is the Condor Tool and Knife WoodBuster. All right, so clearly it's, a chopping style option, but this is a chopper with a specific purpose. This is set up to be in compliance with the Blade Sports specification. So if you've ever seen one of those competitions where they have to cut through a 2x4, then they have to cut some straws, then they have to cut the rolling tennis balls and some hanging rope, and there's this whole series of tasks. This knife is a production attempt, okay, to be one of those competition style choppers. And those are, normally those things are pretty expensive. They go for quite a bit of money. And if you were going to get into those knife competitions, you would have to drop a pretty significant amount to get your hands on one. Now, I'm not interested really in doing chopping competitions. That's not why I got this. What I'm interested in is if you think about all of the things that they have to do in those competitions, right? They've got to chop through 2x4s. They've got to cut rope. They've got to cut fruits and vegetables. They've got to cut those rolling tennis balls. To me, it seems like a set of tasks for which a blade is going to have to be pretty well balanced, which means this could be an exceptional one tool option. And that's why I got this. I really want to take this out to the bush and see how well it serves doing kind of everything, right? Just throw this in my backpack and nothing else, and try to, cut some material for a shelter, get firewood processed and ready to use, cut up the fruits and the vegetables that I want to cook. I think I'm just going to do like a tinfoil dinner where you take a bunch of stuff, roll it in tinfoil and put it in the fire. I think that's the approach I'll take. Anyway, what I really want to do with this is take it out and put it through its paces and see if this can be a good one tool option. And if it could, I could see a great deal of value in being able to put this, in your truck, in your backpack, on your ATV, in your canoe, whatever means of transportation you often use in the wilderness, and that you've got something that can do the job of an axe. It can do the job of, a regular knife. It can do the job. It can do food prep stuff. The only thing this is really not going to be good at in a wilderness setting, because there's no real tip there, it's not going to be the greatest thing for, processing an animal you've killed. But outside of that, I think this can really be a knife that does a bunch of stuff pretty darn well. It remains to be seen. I will say I've only done a little bit of testing, and I will say this is not really an unboxing. When I first got it, I had to walk the dog anyway, so I threw this on my belt and took it when I walked the dog, and I did chop a couple of, I did a little bit of testing with it out in the bush while I was on my walk. It also, the other thing I will say by way of first impression, this did not come razor sharp. But what I'm going to do is put this on the Work Sharp blade grinding attachment and give it a really, really, really hair-popping edge, and then I'll go out and put it through its paces and see how it does. All right, now I've told you all of that to justify my purchase, and I forgot to tell you the specs and everything about this. So let me quickly give you a rundown on what we're dealing with here. So we've got this big, thick leather sheath just bent over and sewn with a couple of rivets. Hold on. I'm wrecking the place. There we go. So yeah, big leather sheath, fairly simple, just hangs on a belt, quite functional, and the retention is pretty good. I will say, you kind of force the handle in here a bit, and it gets in there pretty tightly, which is nice. move that leather sheath out of the way. We've got 1075 steel here with a convex grind. You guys know I love convex grinds, and in this application I think it's the perfect way to go. We've got not quite a 1/4 of an inch thick steel here. So this is about 5/16 of an inch. And then the handle is this big hand-filling piece of micarta that really, really holds on. The other thing is these competition choppers have to have the option of the front lanyard, and I think I will put that to use because one of the things I already found myself trying is kind of choking down on this and getting a couple of fingers on the back of the handle to see how that works. So I may put a lanyard on this. Normally I'm not a lanyard guy, but when there's a functional purpose for it, that's a little bit different. All right, so I think I remember, oh, I know what I should point out. One of the cool features this has is that tapered tang, which is really neat. And I will say again, that micarta feels very, very nice. And of course, those 2 holes do allow for, I'm trying to show that you can actually put paracord right through there. Anyway, you may or may not be able to see that, but that's going to be what I'll do with this knife. All right, so let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you want to pick up one of these, I got this one over at White Mountain Knives. Justin did still have some in stock, so you can save yourself 10%. And I think they're like $122, which is, for what this is, a pretty good deal. You know, these competition choppers go for like hundreds of dollars and perhaps even more. And if you wanted to get into cutting competitions, you'd be laying out a pretty substantial amount of money. This way, you can at least get a feel for it. Perhaps you want to practice, or even you want to go in a competition, you can have something that will at least get you in and let you give it a try without dropping a huge amount of money. So there's that benefit as well. For me, it's going to be a tool that I give a shot out in the bush. I'm really, really curious about how this performs. Obviously, I'll record the whole thing and share it with you, so stick around to see how that goes. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will talk to you soon.